everybody. Larry and Al here, Search for Truth. We're here our first episode 39 in the year 2025. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
As you can see, we have a beautiful young lady sitting between us here. That's Miss Brenda. She is the mom of Alton's 3 beautiful daughters. And she's here to talk to us a little bit, share a little bit of her story. And we're honored to have her. So we're just going to let her go from there. I will say, though, before we go, I will just a quick question here. And I'll put Brenda on the spot a little bit, but you know this is episode 39 of Larry and Al Search for Truth. So what is your thoughts, sort of off the cuff, or your reaction to Larry and Al Search for Truth?
Well, I'm fairly sure I've watched all of the episodes, and they've all been very interesting in terms of the subject matter, and it seems like the truth was being spoken. So I do follow in that respect, and happy that you guys are involved in doing something that you want to do and that you enjoy doing. And I know Alton, my ex-husband, enjoyed talking, so he's right up his alley as to what he does.
Yeah, I enjoy talking. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
And that is the truth.
I know. I know it's the truth.
That's what we always try to get back to when we talk. We get off on the different tangents, but we're always kind of, the foundation is a search for truth. Al and Larry and Al, Search for Truth.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell us a little bit about you so we can know more about you and your relationship to Alton and to me, and you'll be a beautiful addition to our podcast.
Well, I grew up in Santa Ana, California, on 1746 West Camille Place, which is right around the corner from Smedley High School. It's Carnell, Valley High School, Steele Valley. Mm-hmm. And I went to Monte Vista Elementary School. I was the first black that ever entered the school. Mm-hmm. The good news and the bad news, I didn't know I was different from the other kids. Mm-hmm. So when they lined up on the sidewalk to welcome me to school, singing the song, "Nigger, nigger, nigger," I had no idea what that was. So I went home and I was singing the song. And my dad says, "What are you saying?" I said, "This is a song the kids sing to me every day when I go to school." Innocent is a blessing. I didn't know I was being made fun of. I thought it was just welcoming me to the new school.
Right.
So I had fun at Monte Vista, and I went on to Smedley, and I graduated from Santa Ana Valley High School, 1967. I've always been into sports. That's one of the connection Alton and I had. He played football. I had 3 brothers that played football. 3 of them played professional football. So, we're just an athletic family, and that's what I do. We have 3 beautiful daughters together, Markel, Terry, and Kim. They all played sports as they were growing up. They were the kids' sports. Alton coached most of the teams. I remember one time when he got sick and injured, and I had to take over for him, and I just stepped in and did it. I believe he was coaching Terry Lynn's Kim softball team. Yeah. But I'm a coach at heart as well, so I was able to go ahead and coach that. And one story I tell is that my middle daughter, Terry, had Rod Carew's daughter on the team. And so when I went on vacation for a while, I asked him to step in to coach my girls. And so he did. He gladly stepped in. He lived in the community, so he gladly stepped in. And when I came back, my girls were reacting to the ball fight. They were running in and doing this, and I had to stop the game. I said, "Well, what are you guys doing?" And the little girl put her hands on her hips and said, "Rod Carew told us we had to rush the ball." And I said, "Did he say anything about waiting until the ball is hit?" And the funny thing about it, Rod Carew was watching at the game. He came out and apologized to me. He says, "I didn't mean it. That's not what I taught them," and so on and so forth. I'm sitting here looking at a professional baseball player. But it was a good experience, for me and the girls, and even for him, because he got into his girls' sports, something like that. So that's a story. Yeah. But as for myself, like I said, I played sports, softball all year long through elementary school, junior high, high school. I was a softball player. I joined a travel softball team called the Stray Cats, and that's what we were. We were just stray cats out there, as I think we're 50 plus playing. And I also ran track and field at the same time for the Senior Olympics. Is what so I was doing track and field, doing this, doing that, and I finally came to the conclusion that I hate to lose, and so therefore I like to put winning and losing I'm not a good team player. I'm a team player if everybody's on this, when we lose, they don't care, and I actually need to go in a corner and be by myself a while. So I'm very competitive in that respect. So after that, I went ahead and switched over to track and field at about age 50. I looked over there and I saw some people on the podium. I said, "What are they doing?" They said, "They're running track and field." I says, "How do I do that?" Because I want to be on the podium too. And that's exactly what I did. I switched to track and field where I was a sprinter. That's what I am. I did the 50 to 100, 200, 400, long jump, triple jump, and in the senior Olympics. And I did a 4x1 relay team. And every now and then they can talk me into a 4x4 relay team.
You've been doing that
since I turned 50 and I'm 75, so for 25 years I've been doing this.
Wow. How many gold medals do you have?
I have more gold medals. Everybody asked me that question. And I finally decided one day I was going to count them. And so I started counting my medals. I got bored at 400. That was not all the medals.
Wow.
And I put them in a box. I had to get something that I don't even know why I keep the medals, but I keep the medals. But I have well over 400 medals. The one I like the most, obviously, would be the National Games and World Masters. We compete internationally, and last Worlds I was able to win a gold medal in the 80-meter hurdles and a silver medal in the 200-meter hurdles. Then
you've been around the world running track.
I've been to a lot of places. I don't know if I can name them all, but I've been to a lot of places. I've probably been to a lot of the
Puerto Rico.
I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Hawaii. I just came back from Sweden. These are international competitions.
Yeah.
Nationally, it's
France.
You want to interview?
No, I'm just kidding. If you say you didn't know, I'm just trying to help you out.
I mean, because it's I probably don't know it off the top of my head because you run. My attitude is you run a race, you get your accolades, you throw the medals in the box, and you start training for the next track meet.
Right.
So it's not like I reflect. I'm happy when I win and get to stand on the podium and whatever, and have the USA music play behind me. I'm happy about that, but what's next? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
No, it does. Yeah.
It makes sense to me. I don't count my medals. I don't do any of that stuff other than I keep being asked that question because people know I get a lot of medals. So anyway, as I get older, I've been skipping the 400. Every now and then I get talked into 4x400. I'm a sprinter. Give me a 50 meters, 100 meters, and the 200 meters is a stretch. Triple jump is a little bit more coordination. Could do it at 50. 75 is a little difficult. The good news, we're all aging together.
Right.
But occasionally I do both depending on how I feel. At age 75 and a half, I'll be 76 in July. I might need to reduce my participation, but once again, if I see the fact that I can win, I'm coming up where we have the National Outdoor Championships coming up in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm tempted to sign up for that, but I'm trying to decide if I'd rather go to the World Masters, which is in Gainesville, Florida, 3 weeks later. So it's not like I can stay there. So I may have to choose, or I may just dig up the finances and go back and forth to do both of them. I looked at the prices, and they're not too prohibitive, so I might be able to do both. So, like I said, I'm getting old. My knees. I get several knee injections a year in my right knee. Right now, I sustain the pain on 3 Motrins. I take 3 Motrins, and it still works, but I only take them at certain times because I don't want to build up a tolerance to the Motrin. So it's just occasionally when I do that. So I might reduce my participation, but I probably can't. And because my spirit won't let me. My spirit is like going, I'm not gonna let so and so in the race, So that's my problem. But I am thinking about, and I'm not. It's probably a little rough on my knees and agility, but there's a pickleball court or gymnasium, whatever you want to call it, being built over there by Costco. There's a big old warehouse that they put pickleball in there. And I've never tried pickleball before, but always wanted to. So I think I'm gonna at least give it a try and see if that's something that I would be be good at, or be competitive at, and they do host that in the Senior Olympics as well. I don't think they do international competition yet. They might, but I don't know of it. But they definitely do national competition. So that's what I might switch over to. And other than that, I got 3 beautiful daughters. I don't know if I mentioned that. Marco, Terry, and Kim. Ex-husband that I get along with. As you see, we're sitting next to each other. We're not fighting, but
we've been divorced for 41 years.
Yeah,
it's amazing. You guys you still can do it. You still can. That's good.
My whole thing when we did get divorced and stuff like that, I have 3 girls. There's no way they were going to grow up without knowing who their father was and their dad being an integral part of their lives. So what they do when they come visit one, they say they're going to do a parent run. So they come over, they visit me first, and then they come see Alton, or they visit Alton and they come see me. Because we live, I'm not far away, we don't live far away from each other. Right. So they do a parent run, and we do most holidays together. Most major holidays, we do Thanksgiving and Christmas together, and New Year's. And
we watch movies.
We have movie night.
Football.
So they drive me crazy with all this football.
They come over and we watch football and we order food. It works for both of us, and it definitely works for the girls. But like I said, my girls are not going to grow up without knowing who their daddy was and being part of it. So I'm not quite sure unless you guys have any more questions. I'm pretty close to. I did all my notes.
Well, I just have a lot of things came to my mind when you were talking about your athletic pursuits. So right now, what's your training look like? What do you do? For training to keep yourself in the fit condition you need to be in to be competitive like you are.
Yeah, I did lay off a little bit, so I do have a personal trainer that I see on Mondays and Wednesdays for an hour, and he trains me for track and field, specifically for track and field. So I pull a sled, I push a sled, I do all sorts of leg workouts and upper body workout. I mean, he's been my trainer for multiple years. I don't know when I picked him up, but multiple years he does that training, so I stay in shape that way. And right now I don't have a track coach. I prefer working out by myself. I'm a certified, nationally certified as a track and field coach. I coached at Yorba Linda for I think 8 years. 8 years until I just decided that I'm retired, and that's what I'm going to do. Just retire and just kind of work on myself. It had nothing to do with Yorba Linda. Was a great, high school to work with. The coaches were all nice. The kids are a blast, But I am 75, and it's just a mixed thing. This year, I just decided to not do that, and I don't typically do individual training just because I don't. It's no one has. I have to find someone with the same attitude or same mindset as me, and want to work hard through the pain, through whatever's going on. I mean, I don't train an athlete that's injured. Don't get me wrong about that. But sometimes it hurts when you start. I was out at the track this morning and I did some repeats. I did a full warm up. Meaning I didn't skip anything. I did a ladder drill this morning where I did all the maneuvers through the 10 loop ladder, and then I ended the day with 3 150s at. Sometimes I run for speed, and sometimes I run for distance, and sometimes I run for training purposes. So this time was at a 70% effort, meaning that I can do repeats. If I run all out, I can't do repeats, but if I do it at 75% of my effort, which means at the end of the 150, I can still breathe without bending over and falling out. Because I have to go through the energy systems. Yeah. So there's only 8 seconds of the fast switch energy systems. I may be getting a little too technical, and then the rest of it's on your distance run, your lung capacity. So I was just practicing getting around the curve with the speed, and then holding my speed down the straightaway. So 50% around the curve, and the rest of us holding my speed. And that's just a typical way I train for really 100 meters, and it's a 100 meter, 200 meter training session. So that's about me. And
you're talking about how you like coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So do you find like there is a growing call for coaches for the senior, if you will, age group? Is some of these athletes like yourself that age, continue to age, but they still want to train? You might have some really good insight and coaching techniques for these kinds of individuals that are, like I say, growing in age, but they still want to. So would you consider that as part of what you might want to do or could do or do?
I steer away from adults.
Really?
Yeah. I have to have a go. I don't train for fitness per se.
Right.
If you just want to get in shape, then that's not what I do.
Right.
If you want to train for a particular event, a sprint event or a distance, then I can train you to that. I have a program for those things, based on the individual. So it's kind of what the goals are. And then the worst thing you could ever tell me, I was coaching somebody, and hopefully she doesn't watch this, but I won't give her the name. And she, I was trying to train her to win or be the best she can or whatever it is. And she said to me, she doesn't care if she wins or loses. And so we had to split.
Yeah, because that's a different
some people
than you have.
Yeah. I says I can lose better than I used to. When I used to lose, I used to just, even if I came in second, I would just bellyache. But I've learned to lose gracefully and go and congratulate the person that actually did.
Put your hand out and shake your hand.
Yeah, whatever. So, but if you want to train me, if you want me to train you for conditioning, then that can be the goal as well. But if you want to train me to run, which is what I do,
right.
I was a high school track coach at Yorba Linda High School and at J. Sarah High School. So all of that's training to win, and you're training with young people, and they're very, they do well. It's okay. It's just, for me as a retired person, it was just a little bit of a grind because it's every single day and most weekends.
Yeah.
So I just didn't feel like I wanted to give that energy up there anymore.
Right. If you can't give it your all, it's kind of.
No, I can give it my all, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
At 75, you don't have to do what you don't want to do.
No, exactly.
And if somebody from the school would come up and say, "Hey, would you?" and I would, but typically, right now I work out with the adults, pretty much so they're over 50, and we just work out as a group. Sometimes there's a group, there's nobody over us, so somebody has a workout for this day, and somebody has a workout for that day, or we all do our individual things.
Mm-hmm. So there's a camaraderie, kind of a fellowship.
Yeah, we had fun at Christmas time. Instead of having a Christmas dinner together, we made Christmas cookies, to give, so we could exchange Christmas cookies, and you thought we were kids.
That's kind of fun. That was going to be one of my other questions about all these years you're doing this. There's some long-term friends, people that you've had friends for a long time, or this kind of relationship with these people that have like-minded, athletically.
Yeah, I run for the Southern California Striders. That's a group that's been in business since 1955, and it was getting ready to close. I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but Southern California Striders came into being in 1955, and it was started by 5 athletes. And when the 5 athletes came back they represented the United States at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. You have to go back in the days, but when they came back, there was not a club for them to join. It wasn't a club for them to join, so they went ahead and created their own club, which is the Southern California Striders to this day. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, they're being the best in the world, they attracted people, other athletes to come in.
You remember Charlie Dumas?
Yeah, the Navy.
He was a strider. He was the first 7-foot high jumper.
And we have many. Ed Carruthers was a strider. There's just if you look at our history, all of the history of the striders is in the encyclopedia. There's just a history, and all of them were inventors of some sort. There's a starting block that's called the Newton starting block. The member is on our club. And just their techniques and stuff like that. The last original strider passed away this past summer.
No kidding.
So there's the last original strider, and we commemorate that. But every year, we have a banquet. Every year, we train together Saturday mornings, and so that's the club I belong to. So and when I compete as a strider, nationals, but we could compete as USA when we go into international competition. We're all part of the USA team.
Well, being into sports like you are, what was it like being married to Alton when he was playing sports and all the various athletic endeavors that he was involved in, following him or being there with him?
He played football for Pomona. Yeah, Pomona when Markel was first born. And of course we went to all the games and stuff like that. And when I was pregnant and had Markel, it was really kind of funny. His football mates got together and gave us a stroller and a high chair. They were the stuff about they were so excited to have done that.
Yeah.
As a group. So, and I think I was the captain of the team. He was the captain of the team. So we went to all the games, and I was used to going to all the games. My two older brothers and my younger brother all played football.
So you were used to that, like you said
That's what we
early
did
on.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We went to a football game. So that was part of it.
She watched me get beat.
At Pomona, but they weren't very good. But nonetheless, he did that, and Markel was the baby, and like I said, our big treat was going to A&W Root Beer. We get the mama burger, the papa burger, and the baby. That was our treat. Because we were poured in dirt back then.
Right. Were you the only one married and on that team?
No, I didn't think there was like 4 or 5 guys. Cause you got to remember, when I graduated, I was 27.
Yeah.
And when I got married, I was 25. And there was the 3 captains, and the other guy, he was 27. He ended up being a counselor over at Mount Sac. And Henry Bradford, he and I came from San Diego. He and I was in elementary school together. So, but no, she supported me greatly. I mean, the guys, I remember we used to come to the house and she used to fix, I mean, it was unbelievable because she used to fix a big pot of neck bone soup, chicken, and them guys came over and they ate the whole
thing. The story behind that is that my mom and dad owned a barbecue pit, so they didn't use the neck bones and the liver. They didn't use the inner parts of it. So they would give it to me, and we'd boil it up and season it up. We thought we were eating a gourmet meal, and the football team came over and said, "Can I have some of that?" Well, I had plenty.
Yeah.
So they used to come over to eat. I said, "I can't believe it."
She used to study.
So
Alton and Brenda for
the guys used to come over. We used to study for an anatomy test. So the guys come, 5 or 6 of them would come over, and boy, they said, "What is this? It smells so good." And she did about 2 or 3 bowls apiece.
Like I said, it was playing. My dad, here's his attitude was he used to bring. Markel was the youngest at the time, and so he worked at the PX in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So he'd bring over cases of baby food.
Wow.
Cases. He said, "Y'all may starve, but this baby's not starving." And it was so much food. We had so much food. I had to share it. It was just so much food that we brought over and stuff like that. So,
I used to take her to class with me.
Yeah.
Sit outside the door. I sit in the door and she'd be,
When I went back and got my, I was in radiology, so I had to go back and take a class. I forget what class was, and I asked the instructor. It was in Glendora. I don't know what college I was at, something like that up there. And I had to finish up my training, and so I asked if I could bring my baby to school, which was Markel, and he told me, she's about 3 months old, something like that. So I'd bring her in a little chair and sit her there, and she was fine. The kids, the other students, they were preoccupied with watching the baby.
Yeah.
Paying attention to the instructor.
Yeah. Well, for a baby, she was a prototypical baby.
Yeah.
She didn't cry. She potty trained herself. And she didn't want nothing dirty on her. All her clothes got to be clean. And she was.
Yeah, she saw us how we went. I was so poor we had to go to the Goodwill to get a potty chair. But we went and got a little potty chair for her, and she started depositing her potty in there all by herself. She didn't even need to be trained. She just watched. She was just watching.
Yeah.
Is that same today?
No, she's very astute.
She is. She's the leader of the 3.
So talk about the 3 girls and the relationship with their parents and each one being a little different and what they're alike about.
Well, Markel is kind of quiet. Terry Lynn is more like me, and then the baby daughter is a spitting image of her.
Really?
Yes.
You know, they
Yeah, but you know, the most important thing I can say is that even though Brenda and I got divorced, it didn't affect them. Initially, it did, but in the long run, it didn't, and they all went on to college, all got their master's degrees, and all have good jobs.
That's what we were talking many times on these podcasts about how how accomplished the three of them are.
Yeah, and they, they did everything in step.
They all went to college differently. Markel went away to UC Santa Barbara,
Right.
And she was not on a scholarship, but she did get, she was able to work, and Alton and I scrapped the money together, and she scrapped it, we all scrapped it together. She had some school debt. Terry Lynn, she did it her way. She went to Orange Coast. She went to Mervyn's, and she decided to go to Orange Coast College, something she could afford. Then she went to Fullerton College, something that she could afford. She had 3 or 4 roommates. She made it work for herself, and then she finally went to Chapman University, which is her dream school, and she graduated from there with her master's. And then Kimberly, she's always she's my daughter, but she can't add and subtract, multiply and divide at all. Okay, but she can do statistics. Like you never ever could believe. It's amazing.
She was a tutor.
It was amazing. When she went to college at Grambling, she ended up being, like Alton said, a tutor in the school because nobody knew what even to this day, even though I took statistics, I still don't know what I was.
Yeah,
I took statistics too.
But
so did I.
she didn't
tell you what it is.
I remember the tri-square. That's all I remember.
She intuitively knew statistics, couldn't add and subtract, but she knew statistics, and she uses it now. And she works for a company called AMD, and they still scratch their head about how she can strategize using her knowledge and stuff like that. So she's a little rising star in that company.
That's
and
what I hear.
I'm very proud of her.
Yeah.
And she lives in Texas. She
Right.
A big old 3,500 square foot home.
Right.
She bought a house. She bought a house.
Well, all of them did.
Yeah.
All of them bought what they were comfortable with, and so they all live independent of us. And probably next year, we're thinking about doing Christmas there or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've done Christmas at Kim's house before. She has 5 days.
Yeah.
If we can all fit in there pretty nicely, and it's
Yeah.
just a change of view, just a little bit different.
But I think the important thing I think is that even though they're 2 of them are half a century old, and the one's almost there, they still we still get together as a family.
Yeah.
And whenever we do something, it's they always have to make sure that do you want to go? I say no, not this one. It's the next one I go. But so everything it's been a positive ride in life for me as a father, and it's been a pleasure and a joy to have the girls. They just like the other day. I think it was Wednesday. Trinity called me. She said, "Dad, I'm coming through, and I'll make sure you got plenty of food and a bottle of water and stuff like that." And I said, "Okay." She came through and made sure we went to the store and got my bottle of water, and made sure I got some salads in there and everything like that. And then, like I tell folks, like I've told you before, I'm blessed my children even talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of kids don't even think that far.
Yeah, but they watched my siblings take care of my mother, so they know what's kind of involved. They're very intelligent kids,
Right.
so Alan's sharper than I am, but I hang in there best I can.
But
I mean, there's a decline. Come on, I'm 75, 76. There's a decline. I can't quite remember everything. But what I've been doing is, me personally, if I have a doctor's appointment, I just put them on the phone. And they asked all the questions.
Let me tell you how smart this lady is. She's an X-ray technician. You heard of the nuclear medicine machines you put in the X-ray?
Yeah.
That's what she does. She can do that.
No, for my job, I was an administrator, and I did the school program when the students came through, and I bought. I was in on all of the transactions of
She wrote a lot of this stuff.
Of all the equipment and stuff like that. And, even when he said I didn't write it all, but Sacramento called me wanting to know would this new rule and regulation work for the community at whole. So they used me as
you were definitely a resource.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't work for them.
Right.
And then in the end, she went around to all the Kaiser hospitals as a consultant. So,
But I was implementation.
yeah.
Anytime we had new systems, anytime we implemented a new system, I worked at a corporate office and I went around and implemented. If you go there and you can, they call you up on medical records and they have your whole records and stuff like that, have the results of the X-rays, everything, all there in one place. That's what I was part of that grouping that connected all of the services.
Wow, that's pretty.
So
pretty important and pretty,
and then when it was completed, I retired.
You walked away a winner.
Yeah.
Well, it's like everything, right?
December 31st. December 31st, I gave him a 6 months notice because of over the years, sometimes if you work in the capacity, you end up being responsible for a whole thing. I was responsible for the entire mammography program at all the facilities. So I had to transfer my knowledge. And so it took 6 months. I gave him a 6 months notice and I transferred all of my knowledge to the subordinates that were there, so they could just continue on.
They just move on without a glitch.
And that's what happened. So everything was completed appropriately.
Well, Brenda, I want to say thank you for sitting down.
At last,
and you were our very first person to come in as a guest to our podcast.
The first guest?
Yes.
What have you guys been doing?
Well,
just talking to yourself?
Brenda, we're retired, and everybody don't have our hours.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're retired too, so everybody can't be here at 11:30 on a given day. Because we have the logistics. Larry lives. Elijah lives in San Diego, and Larry lives in Temecula. So they come up here. We choose days.
I like Temecula. I belong to Thornton Winery.
Yeah, okay, you know about the winery.
No, that's one of my favorite destinations with family, or sometimes with just me. My daughters took me there for my birthday last year. We had a random time.
Yeah, there's some nice wineries out there.
Yeah, and then my other daughter introduced me to downtown Temecula.
Yeah, Old Town, they call it
Old Town Temecula. And I spent a day there just by myself.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, lots of restaurants and stores and shops.
Yeah, and I'm a lavender person. I love lavender.
Well, they got everything.
And they have a lavender shop there, and they had a Thomas Kincaid shop. I had a great time.
You could spend the whole day.
I did spend the whole day. I didn't even go to the winery. I didn't. I just said, okay, I've done enough going home. Something like that. It's not like I don't go to the winery whenever I want to. Really.
But again, thank you very much.
Well, we search for truth.
Yes,
I think we spoke the truth. We heard some truths. And we talk often about miracles of life. And for me, from my perspective, it's a miracle to see the two of you sitting here after all these years, after all you've been through, the two of you, with your kids and everything else, and you get to sit here on this day, January the 9th, 2025, and to me, it's a miracle.
Well, the commonality was both of us wanted our daughters to grow up with a mom and a dad, and not sneak over to see Alton or sneak over to see me.
Mm-hmm.
They call it like I told you earlier, they call it a parent run.
I like that. That's a good name for it.
I'm going to go visit dad, or I'm going to visit dad and I'm going to visit mom.
We're not having any guilt or nothing like that.
Yeah.
No, they do. I mean, when Kim comes into town, she'll come over and we'll watch a movie. So what are you going to do? Watch a movie or whatever. And but I'm blessed, and I'm just blessed that I did some right things in my life, and that's take care of it.
We can't all say that, that's for true.
You knew me a week of talking and marrying him.
That's another story.
That's a story for another day.
That's another day.
No, I was not pregnant.
No, you were not.
I was not pregnant. I just went along with it.
Well, just to put it to rest, I was 25 years old, and I met her, and I realized that all the things that she had in her attributes were the things that I was looking for in a wife. Yeah. And I said, why wait?
I had no concept of a husband.
No, I'm messing around. But anyway, we did good.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Brenda.
We appreciate Elijah as usual, our tech guy. Without him, we don't do it.
We don't do
can't
it.
be it. So I thank you all, and until next time, peace out.
Peace out.
Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.